Tonight, we're looking at the humanitarian crisis happening within the walls of New York City's Rikers Island. The jail complex, located on an island between the Bronx and Queens, has a long and dark history of violence. And new surveillance footage from inside the jail, published by the New York Times, not only shows a dangerous environment, but also the indifference shown by prison officials to the violence. You can see in the video here a gang leader controlling a cell block, forcing two men to fight in what appears to be their version of fight night. This is all happening while a corrections officer stands nearby watching, failing to intervene. One of the men forced to participate was granted release by a judge due to the Department of Corrections' failure to keep him safe. Joining me now is Eric Burse, an attorney with the New York County Defender Services and counsel for the man who was released. Also with me, Jan Ransom, New York Times investigative reporter who first published these videos. Thank you both for coming on tonight. Appreciate you both. Eric, starting with you, you were able to get these videos to support your client's petition for release. First, let me ask you, how's he doing since being released, and was giving his detailed account of what he endured difficult for him?
Thank you for having me tonight. My client is doing much better, of course, now that he's home, out of Rikers Island, fighting his charges while experiencing some freedom. But you're right, him sharing the details of what happened definitely was concerning to him. But also he had to, show some bravery to come to court and to testify about what was occurring back in his cell block every night when he'd leave court. So he's doing fine, and he's at home, and we're hoping that the way that we got to this sort of victory can be replicated by other attorneys here in the city.
Now, your client, was he Relator G as he was identified in court documents? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. It's insane that he was having to endure all of this because he simply could not bond out. And I know that whatever charges he was facing may have been serious, but at the same time, I mean, he's still presumed innocent and was without protection while in pretrial detention. He was now one of 8 people forced to participate in this fight night, and there were days where he received no food at all.
That's right. And you're exactly right about his bond situation. I'm a public defender here in New York City. And of course, I encounter clients every day who unfortunately just can't afford the amount of bail or bond that is set by a judge. So he was one of them. And you're exactly right. He has to endure these conditions just because he can't afford the monetary bail. So that's unfortunate. But he's doing well now, as I said, back at home. And I forgot your second question. Could you tell me again?
Oh, no, just the fact that he was on pretrial, that he was in pretrial detention and basically went days, that's what it was. He went days without food. How does that even happen?
Yes, that's a great question. As you're noticing or noting with this segment, there is a humanitarian crisis going on at Rikers. It's nothing new. It's been going on since early summer of last year. But what is new is the fact that at least one judge, one Supreme Court judge here in New York City, made a finding that the City Department of Corrections was being, quote, deliberately indifferent. That's the legal standard we had to meet. She made that finding in a 14-page opinion, I believe. And that was a big deal because other judges around the city had not made similar findings, even though attorneys had been bringing similar information, similar claims of no food, no time out of their cells, and violence, of course. No judges made this type of finding, but this judge did back in December of last year. And we're hoping that other attorneys can replicate this to help their clients out as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are we starting to see, or are you starting to see more motions from within your office and private attorneys making a plea, a request to the court to have their clients released as well?
Absolutely. And I guess, don't get me wrong, public defenders in New York City were filing writs of habeas corpus all the time. The issue was judges would just summarily deny them, saying that they didn't think whatever the allegations were rose to the high legal standard that had to be met for such an action. So hopefully with this video that Jan has so bravely published and exposed to the world now, hopefully more people will feel compelled to, sound the alarm, saying that whatever's going on at Rikers is not acceptable. We know people have to eat.
And that's another thing. Before I get to you, Jan, I just wanted to ask, Eric, how did you even obtain these videos? I mean, clearly you aren't going to be able to capture on tape someone not eating for days, but you are capturing the violence and the dangerous conditions that these incarcerated people are having to endure on a day-to-day. So how are judges just summarily dismissing these claims when there's actual video? Is it on the part of the attorneys not requesting it? Or is it difficult to get?
It is difficult to get. You're exactly right. The way you get it is via a subpoena. It's hard to subpoena a city agency, which is what we had to do in this case. But as you're noticing, the judge gets to decide the case, but they also get to decide whether or not they will sign the subpoena. So this judge that I'm telling you about, her name is April Neubauer. She signed the subpoenas. She wanted to know what was going on. Was my client bringing forth real claims, real allegations of stuff that was occurring? And so she did that. And with her signature, we were able to get the videos, of course, and a whole bunch of other stuff that showed the extent to the crisis going on there.
Jan, let me bring you in. You obtained these videos from Eric and his office to help in your investigation. What led you to this story in the first place?
Sure. I was working on an investigative piece trying to get to the root of the current crisis on Rikers. Why were things so bad? Why was it that, a third of the uniformed workforce was out of work? And how did that impact the jail system? And so that led me to Eric and his team and to learning more about Relator G.
And what shocked you the most during your investigation?
It was stunning to see just what people were dealing with on the inside. I mean, we'd heard details, for quite some time now, but to actually see it playing out and seeing what people were going through. I mean, we heard that gangs were taking over some of the jailhouses, that happened a lot more often because there were fewer and fewer officers, if any at all, in some of the jailhouses. But to see some of that violence being played out in this way was quite stunning.
Well, Jan, here is another video where a man is almost stabbed, but a corrections officer stepped in and helped, something that, according to verified claims during your investigation, doesn't happen often due to a number of reasons, like staff shortages, as you mentioned before. Let's get back to the video we showed a little earlier, though. We'll show it again for our viewers. The camera angle from outside the cells during these fight nights, right? You can see one of the guards on duty looking in that direction, but there was no attempt to stop what was going on. Now, on one hand, I'm not surprised by their failure to intervene because they're afraid for their own physical safety. There aren't a lot of people to back them up, but then again, there's actual footage of their disregard, and yet they still have a job. Is no one seeing what we're seeing from the top, and why is nothing being done?
That's a great question. And you're right. There is an officer watching everything unfold, and no one intervenes. I mean, not only is that officer that we see very clearly there, there's also an officer in what's called the control station who can oversee everything that we're seeing here in this video. And yeah, this should not be happening at all.
All right, guys, you two hang tight, because after the break, what the Department of Corrections has to say about all of this when Making the Case returns. Welcome back to Making the Case. We continue our discussion over the violence and dangerous conditions both detainees and guards are facing inside Rikers Island. Back with me as an attorney with the New York County Defender Services is Eric Burse and New York Times investigative reporter Jan Ransom. Eric, we reached out to the Department of Corrections about these fight nights, and this is what their response was. Quote, "We remain fully committed to creating a safer and more humane environment in our jails." That sounds like a statement they've issued after a damning report is published. I mean, this just isn't enough, and they're clearly not doing anything. Your reaction, please.
It is a sad and unfortunate response that you got from them. I think it's the same statement they may have copied and pasted. They also gave it to Jan at the New York Times, I believe, and other outlets as well. But what I will say is, in the special proceeding that I was just explaining to you before the break, the Department of Corrections had the opportunity to call their own witnesses, meaning that they could refute anything that my client said had it been incorrect. They decided to call only one witness who had limited relevance, and everything else they just brushed it aside and rested their case. So I'm not surprised they have nothing um, new to say. But what I will say is that things are not changing there. The paralegals and the social workers and the correction specialists in my public defender's office receive similar reports of violence, of no food, and so forth every single day. And none of that has subsided, even after these videos and after the decision came out in December. So, I'm calling on everybody out there to call whoever you have to, ring the alarm. We need to make sure that the elected officials in this city know that this is unacceptable.
I mean, what should we do at this point? We should let everybody out. How about that? Everybody who is suffering and afraid for their life before they're even found guilty in a court of law should just be released. And at that point, they're safe, and then maybe that alleviates some of the stress of being understaffed for prison officials. I don't know. Jan, another story coming out of Rikers is the hunger strike. Last week, over 200 people locked up initiated a hunger strike over the dangerous conditions. From what you can tell, is the department taking this seriously? I mean, they were already let me not even make accusations, but according to Relator G, he wasn't even eating for days. So, I mean, is that making a difference with the hunger strike?
Right, and that's a great question. I mean, I think the purpose of the hunger strike was to bring attention to what, Eric is describing as a very serious emergency here. Coming off of a year where we had 16 deaths, the most since 2013, and many of them preventable, many of them directly connected to understaffed or unmanned posts. And so, the hunger strike and the purpose of it is all very important. It's my understanding that the Department of Correction tried to meet with some of the detainees. It's unclear what, if anything, the department is doing differently. I agree with Eric in terms of what he's hearing in terms of feedback, that not much has changed.
Eric, you and your office support this hunger strike.
Yeah, I personally do. I believe when this was being reported last week, one of an attorney's clients from my office were calling our office, leaving voicemails describing the hunger strike. And my office leadership was able to, of course, redact their names and release those to the media to show the media this is real. Because if you can believe it, the Department of Corrections was issuing statements last week saying this is not happening. There is no hunger strike. That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed. Jan, another video you were able to release shows men being out of their cells past 9 p.m. Apparently, prison officials have just basically given control to some gang leader by the name of Bacalo, and he essentially sets the schedules. He tells them when people can go out, other inmates can go out to for recreation. He tells them when they're going to go to sleep. He apparently has things in his cell that he shouldn't be having. I mean, he essentially has full control. How does that even happen with a gang leader being essentially in control of this entire facility, or a part
and
of it?
That's a great question. I mean, and it goes back decades, right, to how we got to this point. You had a system where, wardens were in control and the unions, and as the number of correction officers continue to be out in high numbers, we see some of the officers who are showing up, giving up that control. And the result is dangerous, not just for detainees, but for the officers as well. And I think the account from Relator G really shows how that can be a problem, from nearly being stabbed to being forced to participate in fight night and being, seriously injured. I mean, all of that is the result of what we're seeing here today with these gangs being in control.
Eric, Rikers is scheduled to shut down in 2026, which is way too far from now, and it'll be replaced with smaller jails in New York's boroughs. Is that a solution to this humanitarian crisis? I mean, as long as we're still arresting in large numbers, convicting and sending people to prison, we're always going to have a mass incarceration issue. So those small jails will overflow. So is that a real solution?
Well, I don't think it's an immediate solution, which is what my other clients who are at Rikers want. I do think it's, of course, better than Rikers Island as we know it. But what I will say is that my office is requesting and suggesting that a federal receivership take place with the Department of Corrections, meaning that the federal government would be entrusted with that operation, having found that the current system, the city operating it, is not working and it's producing constitutional violations like in my client's case. So there's an ongoing federal case. It's called Nunez v. New York City. And that federal judge has the ability to implement a federal receivership, which would take away the ability for the city to control it. That's a more immediate solution that is extremely reasonable and something that my office is calling for.
This is just another sad example, y'all, of how society treats those who are incarcerated as throwaways. If they've committed a crime or even been accused of a crime, then no one really cares about their well-being, and it's sad, and we need to do something about that. Eric, Burse, Jan Ransom, thank you so much for your time and your work. Thank you.